2024 graduation. My wife, Allie, and I have had 3 kids at Meadowbrook. Our daughters, Mia and Audrey, graduated in the last 2 years, and our son, Jack, will graduate in 2027. Today, though, we are here to celebrate and honor you, the graduating class of 2024. From your recent escape day in Boston to your wonderful home stays in Costa Rica, you have had an incredible journey at Meadowbrook, and I am excited to be the one to kick off the celebration of this class. I'd like to call back to the terrific Little Mermaid musical you put on, as there's an exchange in that show that seems especially fitting here today. Ariel says, "I've caused so much trouble. Can you ever forgive me?" And King Triton responds, "Why, I've never been prouder. Somehow, in the blink of an eye, when my back was turned, you grew up." Now, some of you may have caused trouble, but each of you, in the blink of an eye, but never when a faculty member's back was turned, has grown up at Meadowbrook. Whether you've been here for 2 years or 10, I'm confident that you were loved, known, and challenged here, and that you've shown impressive growth, both academically and emotionally. To that end, I'd like to thank your parents and guardians for entrusting Meadowbrook and supporting your children and the faculty here. And to our incredible faculty, there are not enough words to demonstrate our appreciation for all that you've done for this class and for Meadowbrook. Finally, I'd like to thank each one of you graduates for making Meadowbrook what it is today. You are part of a century-long legacy of excellence and caring. Meadowbrook would not be what it is today without you and without the commitment and work of everyone in this room. Congratulations, class of 2024.
I try to keep myself physically and mentally healthy. That's good for me as a person. It also lets me show up as the dad I want to be, the husband I want to be, and the head of school I want to be. This job can be challenging at times. So I've come up with a little system that works for me. Between every phone call, every meeting or appointment, I do a mini movement break. I might be cradling a lacrosse ball or swinging a golf club or swinging my 35-pound kettlebell in my office. Have you ever spotted me from the courtyard looking into my office swinging something? Do any of you do that? Do you need a movement break like I do? A couple of years ago, I had just finished a meeting and had a moment to myself. So I picked up the kettlebell and I started doing 2-handed hard swings. I was on the second swing and I heard a loud shh. I stopped immediately and stood up. I knew I hadn't popped a muscle, nothing hurt. I put my hand behind me and I looked back. Yep, I had split my pants. Right down the middle. I kind of froze. All of a sudden, my mind started racing. Should I go home and change? Should I call my wife to bring me some new clothes? Should I ask Miss McNamara for help? I didn't know what to do. Suddenly, I had it. The Eureka Lab. They had sewing machines. That was it. What a phenomenal idea. I put my blazer back on, which covered the tear, barely. As I was about to walk into the Danoff Family Innovation Center, I realized this plan was never going to work. Do you see the problem? Yeah. If I was going to sew up my pants with a sewing machine in the Eureka Lab, well, yes, I was going to have to take them off. This was not going to work. It's time for a new plan. It struck me. Safety pins. Get some safety pins. I asked Miss Fisher, in my most normal voice, hi, Miss Fisher. Do you have some safety pins I could have? Sure, she said delightfully, pointed me in the right direction. I got a box of safety pins and headed to the bathroom, where I began an intense pinning session on my trousers. When I was done, I held them up. They looked pretty darn good. I was proud of myself. I don't think anyone would notice. And I have to tell you, it worked great. No one noticed. Well, no one said anything to me anyway. My exuberance was fairly short-lived, as I had that pesky next meeting coming up. And no sooner had that person walked into my office and taken a seat, I faced an unenviable choice. Do I tell the person what had happened? Or do I sit down and take the formidable risks associated with sitting on 22 safety pins? What do you think I did? Who thinks I told the person? Who thinks I sat down? Oh. Well, if you think I told the person, you are wrong. I sat down, gingerly. While my eyes were on the person in front of me, I can tell you, my mind was 93% on the pins below me. Fortunately, all the pins held on. And while that was fortunate, it was still deeply uncomfortable. I spent the rest of the afternoon in a delicate dances of up and down, up and down. I'm not sure I can tell you who I met with that day, or what we discussed, as all I could think about was myself. Why tell you this story? Is it a warning? Not exactly. A tall tale? Definitely not. A lesson. Yes, a lesson. I learned the hard way that day the consequences of not asking for help. My potential embarrassment made me act to preserve my own ego, my own delicate ego. I could have simply told Miss McNamara what had happened. I would have made her day, with a laugh, no doubt, and then she would have helped me. Perhaps canceled a meeting, found me some sweatpants, moved my meetings to phone calls. Quite literally, 100 simple solutions. Instead, I put my own body at risk. And for what? I'm not really sure. My ego had become a big weakness for me in that moment. Let my story be a lesson for you. Ask for help. It's simple, but deceptively simple at times. Ask for help. People care for you. When you invite people to help, the science is clear. It makes them feel better and makes them feel closer to you, and you feel better. A win-win-win. Ask for help. Next year, you'll be starting new schools. You may know a bunch of people there. You may know none. No matter what, for all of you, it is a completely new experience with completely new people. That experience will be better, materially better, if you're courageous enough to ask for help. Unless you worry that I gave up on my healthy movement breaks, rest assured that now I have an extra pair of pants stashed away in my office. And so if you come visit me, you can bet that I'll still be exercising, taking movement breaks between meetings, and trying to be the best, healthiest human I can be. Class of 2024, may you be wildly successful in all that lies ahead. And please, always ask for help. Thank you. Next, we present a Meadowbrook tradition known as the beloved speaker. By tradition, this speaker is nominated by the graduates, and this year they have selected former faculty member, Miss Kay Fenstermacher.
There's a water with my name on it. Y'all know I'm not gonna to make it through without a little drink. All right, I've only stood on the stage one other time, which is kind of interesting. I was just realizing as I was sitting here. Good morning, faculty, board members, families, and of course, graduates, the class of 2024, or, to me, my little nuggets. I've struggled to find the proper word to describe how I feel about being selected as your beloved speaker, so I will just say I'm honored, privileged, and moved to be standing before you all today. As a science teacher, I get to teach some pretty mind-blowing stuff. I'm awestruck by the complexity, beauty, and reliability of the essential processes and principles that govern the natural and human-made worlds. I hope that you will continue to retain your sense of curiosity and wonder about these worlds that surround us and ultimately are us. To be alive in the first place is to have won the biggest lottery ticket ever. Though the last several years have challenged us to learn and grow in ways that we could not have anticipated, they've also reminded us to be resilient and adaptable. Through all of these challenges, you have not just endured, but excelled. Today is the day to celebrate you, a most impressive group of artists, designers, athletes, intellectuals, writers, engineers, mathematicians, musicians, scientists, and historians, and so much more. Sonia, Mia, Cecily, Anya, Alex, Christian, Carolina, Emerson, Khadija, Ames, Marina, Emre, Cece, Ravel, Amanda, Drew, Ayan, Megan, Dylan, Christine, Yar, Ella, Jack, Andy, Millen, Rian, Jane, Seb, Sadai, Giddy, Annabelle, Julia, Eric, Ellie, and Finn. Congratulations. You all have the hardest job in the school, as you are tasked to master skills and content across a vast array of subjects. Each day, you are challenged and strive to meet our unique expectations while we, your teachers, indulge in our passions and focus deeply within our disciplines. And by facing the challenges set before you, wow, have you excelled. I'm sure it's no surprise that when I started thinking about this speech, my thoughts revolved around one theme: change. 1 year ago today, I sat and watched the class of 2023 graduate and mark the end of my time as a faculty member here at Meadowbrook. I experienced a flood of emotions during my final weeks: sadness, gratitude, nervousness, and excitement, as I am sure many of you are feeling today. Some of you might be ready to accelerate to your next adventure, while some are wishing that the application of the unbalanced force that will change your inertia from resting at Meadowbrook will be a bit delayed. And yet, for good or bad, time doesn't stand still. One of the things that made me the saddest to leave was that I would miss your 8th grade year. I've loved every class at Meadowbrook, but we just really have a special bond. It just works like that sometimes. The memories of our time together pop up at various points. It started with a dream I had early in the school year, where I was teaching at my current school and also slipping out to come see you all, as if they wouldn't notice my absence. I still have that dream. Or when I showed the video on Sammy the Snail, who suddenly becomes Super Sammy with a jetpack on her back, and thought about how you all politely commented that was an extra ridiculous video out of the many I've chosen. Or just last week when I was at nature's classroom with my current students and thought about chatting and making friendship bracelets with you, all in a place that's very special to me. Or at the end of a long rock climbing meet when I go to gather my team together and the first things that come out of my mouth are, "Hey Meadowbrook," and I have to pause myself, "Hey Long Track." That's just where my mind's still going. When I'm writing a chemistry quiz and think of all of you and a question that really stumped you and say, "I'm going to skip that one this year." When I tell people what I do for a living, I certainly think of all of you. When you tell someone that you're a middle school teacher, you usually get one of two responses, or a combination of the two. Thank you, or I'm so sorry. I always smile. At first I think, do they know what it's like in the first 5 minutes of my class? Miss F, my binder's in my cubby. Can I go get it? Are we doing a lab today, Miss F? Can I have a cough drop? Can we all have a cough drop? Where should I put my homework? Are we doing a lab today? Can I go get a drink? Did you get a new pair of pants? Miss F, I don't understand the pun. Are we doing a lab today? And there I am, perched on my stool, maybe taking some deep breaths, and just when we get settled and I start going over the agenda, I'm kindly interrupted by the sound of the pencil sharpener, which can even overpower my voice, and we all have a good laugh. I've loved teaching you all science, and I hope you always hear my voice in your head reminding you that an experimental question is not just a clever name. It is a question, and it does need to end in a question mark. And yes, I took 2/10 point off every time you forgot it. But really what I love the most about teaching you all is the bonds we formed and all those memorable moments where we got to really know each other. An unplanned game of musical chairs, our mutual excitement during a lab when the timer stopped at all the same number, or the exact same number twice on the second trial, and I told you to go buy a lottery ticket. Lunch debates over whether or not mayo should even exist as a condiment, and why someone has not yet found a better design for milk cartons so you can actually open them. This could be your future. Naming our favorite Taylor Swift songs from Midnights, someone bringing me back a piece of trash from a Taylor Swift concert that I didn't get tickets to, dance parties to the periodic table of elements song, eating ice cream topped with our maple syrup and rooting for the pickle car, keeping me up to date on the latest fashion trends that I can't quite understand, and make me wish I kept my Converse and Doc Martens, and the random sayings from TikTok that never seem to end. Sure, it wasn't always good times and laughs. Middle school is difficult, but it's by overcoming those difficulties that we grew as a community. Although I can share a million more memories and the ways you've impacted my life, I'll stop there. So let's circle back to change. Change happens whether we're ready for it or not. I hope me standing up here serves as an example of the way that the Meadowbrook family will always stay connected to you. I might not have been here every single day this year, and our communication has changed to quick exchanges where you share where you're going to high school, or a picture from the musical, or a science fun you thought I'd like. But we have and will continue to stay connected. As I made the near impossible decision to leave Meadowbrook, I just kept wishing that this amazing school, which is amazing most importantly because of the people, students, faculty, and families who do truly know, love, and challenge you, could be transported to a small town in the woods. I picked up my life and moved it back and forth across the country, and yet I really struggle with change. What I've learned from this particular change in my life is that my time here has prepared me well for it. From having fabulous mentor teachers and colleagues who helped me learn the ways of classroom teaching and inspired me through collaboration, from people who believed in me even when I was struggling to learn how to 3D print and write a chemistry quiz, and to all of you who gave me honest feedback and were forgiving of my mistakes. I'm so grateful for my time here and what it has taught me, and I know that whether today or 5 years from now, you will continue to feel the benefits of this experience. When I started work at my new school, I was doing a lot of comparing. I realized that was not healthy and shifted my mindset to, hey, what's different and what are the new opportunities I have? I had to rely on my coworkers for help to help me understand the high school teaching world. I had to ask for help when I didn't know how to use the computer system. I found places where I could contribute my skills, like SEL curriculum and science lunches, and found ways to stretch myself, like coaching 2 new sports. Outside the classroom, this change allowed me to fulfill many of my dreams. Buying a house that has a yard with a mountain view where I can walk down the street and get to a trailhead and walk up the street and get to a swimming hole. Getting a dog, my little Gwen Bean, who has brought me love and joy more than I ever imagined she could. And in 2.5 weeks, yes, I'm finally getting married. 17 years later. I will end with my favorite poem, which was read at every last night campfire by the camp director at the summer camp I went to as a kid and continued to work at during college. This camp, as you know, played a huge role in shaping me into the person I am and helping me decide I wanted to work with kiddos. It seems wherever I go, people come into my life or go out of it, touching me where I can feel, then leaving me only a memory, like the gossamer fairy tales of childhood, easily forgotten, and I wasn't through knowing them. How do I know whom I am seeing for the last time? How do you halt your life to gather and keep all those you've ever known? And how do you keep fairy tales from losing their magic? So come, brush against the walls of my life, and stay long enough for us to know each other, even though we'll have to part sometime, and we both know the longer you stay, the more I'll want you back when you're gone. But come anyway, for fairy tales are the happiest stories we know, and great books are made of little chapters. Your next chapter awaits you. As you start to write it, give yourself time to settle in, embrace the differences, and look for what is new and exciting that will challenge you. You can do all of that while holding Meadowbrook close to your heart. And remember, you are never too old to try new things and live out your dreams. Thank you, the class of 2024, and this amazing faculty for making me a better teacher, learner, and human, and filling the pages of my Meadowbrook experience with joy, laughter, and camaraderie. My sincerest congratulations to you on completing this chapter, and I look forward to hearing about the next. And as I have said before, you are all more than welcome at my home in Vermont at any time. I have 2 really nice barns with a lot of space. I love you.
As we all gather here today to mark a milestone event in our lives, I am filled with a huge sense of gratitude for the lessons we have learned at our time here at Meadowbrook. The most important lessons I would like to reflect on include trust, resilience, and confidence. The first value that I would like to talk about, and one of the most important things I have learned in my time here at Meadowbrook, is the power of trust. We are lucky to be at Meadowbrook, a place that has cultivated a community that values and embodies trust. When I first came here in 4th grade, I entered both intimidated and insecure. I wasn't sure whether or not I truly belonged. I knew Meadowbrook was filled with very bright, motivated, and successful students. I felt like I didn't measure up to those around me. I lacked my confidence to raise my hand in class, to share my thoughts, and to speak up. As time went on, and one year turned into the next, I slowly developed a sense of trust not only from my peers, but also for every one of my teachers. I began to recognize that it is okay to be wrong, that giving an answer, right or wrong, was better than giving no answer at all. That the important part of learning and growing is to get comfortable taking risks, to get comfortable challenging yourself. Taking these risks could only happen once I trusted those around me to catch me when I fall. This trust helped me grow both as a student and a person. As powerful as trust can be, we as a class learned just how quickly it can be shattered. Earlier this year, we crossed a boundary with a teacher and learned how quickly our actions can impact others. We not only disappointed our teacher, but also ourselves. We had to go through the tough process of self-reflection and, more importantly, dealing with having let down a person who had put their full and complete trust in us. A trust that we had violated and needed to repair. It was then we realized that trust was truly the foundation of our interactions and class dynamic. And after it was broken, it takes time to earn it back. The lesson was not an easy one. Our class worked hard to rebuild the trust that had been broken, and as a result, we grew stronger together. The second life lesson that Meadowbrook has taught me is about resilience. Resilience is about refusing to let adversity defeat us, but instead allowing it to strengthen us. Students with resilience don't walk away or ignore, students with resilience don't walk away or ignore challenges. They face them head on and with determination. We had the opportunity to demonstrate our resilience during our recent trip to Costa Rica. To begin, we had to embark on an 11-day trip without cell phones or communication with our parents. For some of us, okay, all of us, this was an entirely foreign concept, and we were definitely uncomfortable at first. Further, we were staying in homes with families who were complete strangers and didn't speak the same language. We faced these challenges as a full group, with both hesitation and excitement. Yes, while there were some tears throughout the trip, we persevered. Along the way, we learned an important life lesson. Life will not always be comfortable. Life will not always be what we expect or are used to. But if we remain strong and lean on support from our friends, we can get through anything. Not only did we succeed in getting through unfamiliar territory, we came back with the confidence to know we could do it again. In my own personal life, the past few years have challenged me to face unexpected situations. I had always had a fairly traditional family life, but my parents got divorced, and this brought on so many new changes that I had to learn to adapt to. Not only did I have to get used to the logistics of two homes, but more importantly, I had to adjust to the idea that the perfect life I thought I would have was no longer what was in front of me. I had to accept and learn to embrace a new normal, all while navigating the typical middle school challenges. At times, I didn't feel I could get through it. But I was so lucky to have the support of the Meadowbrook community. This community allowed me to persevere through a tough time and come out stronger. Through this experience, I realized I have the strength and resilience to get through whatever life throws my way. The third value I will take away from my time at Meadowbrook is confidence. That sense of self that allows us to put ourselves out there and take risks. Earlier this year, we were faced with the challenge of applying to secondary schools. As we navigated the application process, SAT tests, and interviews, we had to rely on our confidence in our ability to succeed. We had to have the confidence to write a compelling essay and reflect on who we were. We had to go into the SAT test confident with the amount of work we had put in to perform at our highest level. We had to have the confidence to interview at each school as we presented our best and true self to adults we had never met and who were judging our every word. And finally, when we may not have gotten into every school we applied to, or perhaps the one we most wanted to attend at that time, we had to have the confidence to know that it will be okay. We will be okay because we will make our own path wherever we are next year and the years that follow. Trust, resilience, and confidence are invaluable qualities that we will all leave with here today. Meadowbrook is a special community that has fostered all three of these. We have learned to not only trust ourselves, but each other. We have learned firsthand the value of resilience and that there is nothing we cannot overcome. We have learned that no matter how daunting the road ahead may seem, we have the confidence to face it head on. As we get ready to take this leap into high school, I know we can carry with us the invaluable lessons that we have learned here. Wherever you may be heading, remember where you come from. You come from Meadowbrook, and thanks to that, there is nothing you cannot do.
Mr. Sung, members of the Board of Trustees, and to all of you assembled here today, I hereby declare that the members of the class of 24 have met or exceeded the requirements for graduation of the Meadowbrook School of Weston. We will now commence with the reading of the Meadowbrook M's and the awarding of diplomas.